Good morning to one and all present here, to the team of HPCC as well as the faculty of RVC. Today, our team Redundant Code is going to present our work on Hackathon, which includes me, that is Ishan, Nikhil, and Prashant. So we are here on the ECL ID, and here you can see that there are a few files here. But before that, I'll explain our challenge. Our challenge here is to start ranking states upon various scores, and the state with the highest score tends to be the paradise of a particular person, right? So we have four parameters here: crime, education, health, and weather, right? So we have taken scores from all these four parameters and created sub parameters and assigned scores to them, and performed operations on that. So here you can see there are a few files: file underscore crime homicide, file underscore juvenile, etc., etc. All these files are data sets for the data which we had collected for hours from government websites, from Kaggle, from data sets, etc., etc., census of 2011. So here we start with the browse crime file. The browse crime file is a join of all the major major data sets which are related to crime, right? So this is the crime homicide, which tells us the number of homicides. Crime juvenile tells us the number of juveniles in the state from 2001 to 2010, all states, right? And then we just join them, right? Number of homicides, number of juveniles living with parents, juvenile crimes, right? And then we just join them straight up, right? And then we create another join where we join the previous join with the property crimes, right? The number of crimes that have happened in property, as simple as that. A second join. Then a third join wherein we make use of the rape cases as well, and then we join it, right? And here's a third join. Then finally, what we do is we even join each state and year to the respective population as shown here. State and year, and then a population. So this is what we finally get. Year, number of homicides, number of juveniles with parents, number of juveniles crimes, property stolen, to population. Right? It's the final data set. So let's move on to the analyze crime file. Analyze crime file just consists of a few transformations, which includes, total number of victims, that's homicide, rape, and juvenile, violent crimes, right? Because juvenile crimes are very serious. And then divided by population and scale it up to a number which is way more than 100,000, right? Just for enhancing readability. That's all. And then we also have property recovered ratio, which tells us the amount of properties that were recovered after being stolen. And then we just group the data and just create an average of them and round it up, right? And then store this in a table and sort it, which will look about like this. So here is the data, right? These are the two major parameters which we are going to create scores on, which has been done in score underscore crime here. So here we have the average VPRC, violent crime percentage, and PRR, property recovered ratio, assigned a score to them, iterated through the table, and here we have it, right? The VPRC score and PRR score. Now my friend Nikhil will explain a bit on the education data set. Over to you, Nikhil.
Good morning, I'm Nikhil, and I'm going to be speaking about education. So first, we have the analyze education file. So here we have collected data regarding the schools and students in all the states of India. And as we can see, we have many parameters here. We have ratios, we have data regarding the many schools. So then we have also had an issue in the middle. So that was some special characters and symbols regarding a particular state. We have resolved the issue. Then we have actually joined the data for the students and the schools. We have also calculated the total number of schools and the total number of students. We have also included a parameter called as literacy rate to improve the score. So we have also in the output. We have various fields like student per school and literacy rate. You can see in the output. Yes. So then we have the score education file. So here we have parameters like literacy score, primary PTR score. PTR means people to teacher ratio. Then we also have student per school score. So here we have iterated and sorted the tables with respect to all the ratios: literacy, primary, secondary, etc. we can see in the output the score with respect to all the parameters I get to see PTR and student per school. So next we move on to weather. So here we have the browse weather file. So in the browse weather file, we have included data regarding accidents in various weather conditions like sunny, rainy, foggy, etc. We have also taken total number of accidents and also temperature deviation from ideal conditions. Here we have calculated the total accidents as the sum of all the accidents. And next, we have also included area. So to help the score, we have also calculated accident density. And then we have assigned scores called as accident score, death score, and temporary score. So we have iterated and sorted the tables. Here we can see in the output the various scores with respect to accidents, deaths, and temperature. And all these states are being ranked here. So next, my friend Prashant will explain.
Good morning, everybody. I am Prashant, and I will explain about the analyze health file that we have created. We have taken the data from the internet, and we have the fields birth rate, death rate, doctors, and the population. So we have the record sets, birth to death ratio. Sorry, we have the parameters that birth to death ratio and the people assigned to one doctor. And we took these parameters, and we have finally scaled them, and we have finally define the score based on these parameters. And if the birth to death ratio is more, that means that is not the control population, that it is not a suitable place to live. And if the people assigned to one doctors are more, it's also not a suitable state. And so finally we have the uh, output here, which gives the scores as follows. Thank you.
So that's about the basic data sets and the scores which we made use of, right, in education, health, crime, and weather. So these were all the scores which we made use of. Now what we have done is we have compiled all these scores. So for that, first we created a file underscore composite class wherein we actually, compiled all the records and then just place them in this file here, and which goes on to the landing zone, right? So we created record structures, placed them onto this file onto the landing zone, and then made use of it into the comp file. So this we did this for crime, health, weather, and education, and then a complete layout or a record structure for all of them. For all of them, that is a combined file. Now let us move on to the comp file which I just created, right? So the comp file is nothing but a join of weather, crime, education, and health. So here we just created all the joins. J1, which is a join of weather and crime, which involves transforms which basically defines which field will come from which file. Similarly, this J2, which joins the previous join in the health and the health database. The health database here is the database of all the scores, right? Similarly, we have the join 3, which is nothing but the join of the previous join as well as the education data set. And finally, we have the last join that is known as the paradise, that is known as the paradise, which is nothing but an addition of a parameter known as paradise score, right? Paradise score is nothing but the addition of all these scores. So the state with the largest paradise scores tops the points table, right? So this is how we have calculated everything. So when we run this is what we get. Sikkim tops the charts with the highest paradise score, which means that from so much of data ranging from homicide, crime, area of states, right? Number of accidents, weather conditions, education, etc., etc. Sikkim is a very suitable place for you to live, right? On number 2, we have Lakshadweep. On number 3, we have Andhra Pradesh. Similarly, like this, from bottom 3 are Jharkhand, Bihar, and Uttar Pradesh, right? Which do not have as many facilities as these top 3 have, correct? So now let us move on to the visualization of this data, right? Let's go on to the BWR file. So here we have a BWR file, right? and import B. So what we do is we just import dollar and then just export the paradise sort, so something with the paradise data set from the previous comp file, right? And then bring it onto the watch. So let's move on to the watch. So here we are onto the watch, and here we have the BWR, right? So let's go on to the outputs and result, and let's visualize it. So here you can see that a column chart has been created, but it's not, it's created on a very uh, random definition, which here is accident score. But but the data we are looking for is paradise score, right? So let's select that, and there we have it. Yes, states ranked according to their paradise score. Which state is the best? Which state is, somewhat in the middle to live, and which state is somewhere at the bottom, right? Similarly, we can actually create extra mappings like, add property recovery ratio, and these three parameters, and start mapping all the. And here we have, right? So in this way, we can actually start visualizing data. And this was the entire work of our team, wherein we collected data from the internet, especially very trusted government sources, very trusted data, people who have put up data onto Kaggle, right? So this was a very trusted data set, and it actually turns out to be very helpful for all of us, as we got to learn a lot. Especially we have performed extract, transform, and load onto its fullest. Thank you.